Good day. Good day. Good day, everyone. I just ran back in from the gym. I just ran back in from the gym. So you'll please excuse me for being a couple of minutes late. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to Morning Sip with Red Melissa. I am Red Melissa, and SIP stands for Spirit in Practice, where we practice because practice makes progress. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So, welcome everyone to another episode. We are in our series, Illusions. Illusions. So we're going to get right into it. And let me start with the definition again. Let me take a breath. Let me take a breath. So, y'all take a breath with me if you would like. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, illusions. One of the definitions is something that deceives by producing a false or misleading impression of reality. Can anyone think of an example of that today? Something that deceives by producing a false or misleading impression of reality. Hmm. I can't think of any examples of that. Can you? The origin of the word illusions comes from a Latin word that means irony, mocking, or ridiculous. And I shared Ernest Holmes' definition of illusion. So I'll just share a piece of that just as a recap. He says, the subjective universe, which contains many images which are false, the results of man's erroneous conclusions. This does not mean that the subjective world of itself is an illusion, but it might present us with an illusion unless we are very careful to discriminate between the false and the true. And we know when Ernest Holmes talks about the subjective, another word for the subjective is the subconscious, right? And we can relate to that, right? Our subconscious mind is is the um is the mind of imagination. It is the mind of creation. It's part of the creative process. So sometimes our subconscious mind might present us with an illusion, with an illusion. But what we need to remember, I'm just looking for something, y'all. What we need to remember is that the conclusion, the conclusion that we are making about the illusion. What is the conclusion that you are making about the illusion? That's what we want to focus on. Not so much what is happening, what the reality is with a small r, but what is the conclusions that we are making about the so-called illusions. So, that is a question that we can apply to every area of our lives. That's a question that we can apply to the state of affairs right now, right? So whatever your beliefs are about it is fine. It's none of my business. My question is, what conclusions are you coming to? Are you concluding that this is true or is this false? That this is the real reality with a capital R or not? That is the opportunity for us to focus on. What conclusion am I making about this situation. And it oftentimes makes me think about one of my friends, and I've shared part of her testimony here. Sh- Her, she owns a building in Brooklyn, and on the bottom floor of the building was a what we call in New York a bodega. It was a corner store, and there was a fire, and the fire spread throughout her building, and one of her tenants died in the fire. Now, this was a tragedy. This is a horrible, horrible situation. And she went through a lot, right? There was a fire. The fire is not an illusion, right? There was a fire. What conclusions could she come to about the fire? Now, it may have taken her some time to navigate, right? Last Sunday, I talked about navigating the tides of life, right? So it took some navigating for her to come to the conclusion about what happened. And the conclusion that she came to that this was an opportunity to rebuild. This was an opportunity for her to give something to the community. And she's an artist. And so what she created was an art gallery that was open where she featured new artists, artists who didn't have a track record yet and couldn't get into the established galleries yet. So, did that happen instantly? No. But eventually, as she stayed focused on what her intention was, that is the ultimate conclusion that she came to. And so that is just an example. You could use an example in your own life. Whatever is being presented, illusion or not, I really don't care to endeavor in is is the whole world an illusion? And I would prefer to focus on what am I making this mean? How am I incorporating this, integrating this into my life? What conclusions am I coming to? How does this align with my quality or not? So we get to decide that. We get to choose that. So I want to share something else from Ernest Holmes. And this is on page 187. And then I'm going to check in with y'all and see how y'all doing. So this is what he writes. Never limit your view of life by any past experience. The possibility of life is inherent within the capacity to imagine what life is, backed by the power to produce this imagery or divine imagination. It is not a question of failing or succeeding. It is simply a question of sticking to an idea until it becomes a tangible reality. The illusion is in the way we look at things. We must look at harmony, happiness, plenty, prosperity, peace, and right action until they appear. So we can look at what is happening in the world, pick something. We could look at it, right? And we could say that is the reality. That's all that there is. This is it. What are we going to do? This is what it is. There's nothing we could do about it. Or we can focus, be intentional, take action, show up as harmony, happiness, plenty, prosperity, peace, and right action until those things appear. We get to show up as our quality until it pours into the reality. He goes on to say, if there appears to be confusion in the condition, then there must have been confusion in the thought back of it. If there appears to be confusion in the condition, then there must have been confusion in the thought back of it. What he is saying is out, outward, inward, outward, inward, within, without. So if there is confusion out there, then there must have been confusion in the thought, in the creative process. There was already, let me put it this way, a seed of confusion was planted, a seed of confusion, a seed of division, a seed of separation was planted. And what happens when you plant a seed? It grows. And what does it produce? The fruit that it bears is of itself confusion, separation. So we get to plant our own seeds. The thought back of it. What is the thought back of? The thought back of is your quality. Thinking, feeling, being, believing, knowing, showing up as, taking action as. That thought will produce. Will produce. Now, when? We don't know. Just like we don't know when we plant a seed, when we're going to start seeing it appear above the soil. But we know that progress is being made, even when we can't see it. But when we get so caught up and make a conclusion out of confusion, I don't even have the words. I don't even have the words. So, what is the conclusion that you are making about the so called illusions? What is your thought? Is it a thought of confusion? Is it a thought of peace? Is it a thought of justice? What is the thought? Because that thought married with the conditions of your actions, your speaking, your all of the things that I talk about all of the time will produce results. So let me check in. Let me check in with y'all on illusions. Good day, Linda from Colorado. Good day, Sekou. Good day, Shay. Good day, Pamela. Yes, our own false perceptions and thoughts. Yes, we make it a reality with a capital R. Patty, definitely familiar illusions. I am seeing the truth. Yes. Thank you, Patty. We get to see the truth. We get to know the truth with a capital T. Don't get caught up in the tide of confusion, of separation, of hate, of greed. Don't get caught up. Magic shows thrive on illusions. Yes, 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 yes. I know my congregation of joy gets it. Never make assumptions for agreements. That's right. Never make assumptions. Always do your best, right? So we are doing our best right where we are, right where we are. And we do our best when we use our tools that we know work. So we ground ourselves every day in our spiritual practice before we face the latest illusion, if you will. What is the conclusions that you are making Focus on that. Focus on the seed that you are planting. Focus on the subjective, your subconsciousness. These are the things that we have control over. Yes? And do your part. Whatever way that resonates with you, do your part. I am doing my part by doing research on companies that align with my values. And let me tell y'all, it's very inconvenient. It's very inconvenient. There's a Target in walking distance from my house. I refuse to spend my money in Target as an example. And today, when I was driving home from the gym, I have to go drive by Target. And I'll tell you, a couple of months ago, that parking lot was packed with cars in the morning. I passed by this morning, it was more than half empty. More than half empty. So if there's a brand, I'm like, where are you going, Red Melissa? Well, I'm just going to say this. If there's a brand in Target that you like, there's a Black owned brand. I'll give you an example: TJ Maxx, Home Goods, and Marshalls, all the same company, all have decided to shift their DEI programs. Is this an illusion? I don't choose to endeavor into if this is an illusion or not. But the conclusions that I am making based on actions that have been taken by these companies, I have come to the conclusion that I will spend my money elsewhere. So there's a particular Black owned brand in, I think it's in Home Goods. I love her. She's an artist. She paints, and it's beautiful. So I went online, I looked her up, and she's selling her wares online. She's very upset about what is happening. She put something on social media. She decided she's not renewing her contract and that she will be offering her items online. So we still get to support those brands because that's been a lot of the I know I have pivoted, haven't I? That has been a lot of the conversations. Don't do boycotts because um you also impact um Black and brown owned companies. But guess what? You could buy direct from these companies. You just have to do a little bit more, a little research, and you might just have to wait a little longer to receive your things. So it's a practice of patience as well. So we all get to navigate the tides of life in the way that we choose to. And this is one of the ways that I choose to. Inconvenient? Yes. They rely on the conveniences of our American culture. We want things instantly, instant gratification. But you get to decide. You get to decide for yourself. All right, y'all. I'm back. I'm back. That was just like hanging out there. So I just said it. All right, y'all. Let's get into some joy. Let's get into some joy news. Let's get into some joy news. So some joy news for me, since I'm on this little rant right now. Trader Joe's. If you're looking for some place to shop for your food, Trader Joe's, if you have one in your community or close by. Costco's. I have a membership with BJ's. I'm canceling my membership with BJ's and I am opening a membership with Costco's. That's my joy news. That's my joy news. So you decide how you want to engage in this so-called illusion. And remember, if there appears to be confusion in the condition, then there must have been confusion in the thought of it, that in the thinker. There was confusion in the thinker. All right? Joy news. So this weekend, this weekend at Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living, where I am the spiritual leader, we are in a new series for March, and our theme for March, we're following CSL Global's theme this month, and it is the flow of coming and going. The flow of coming and going. And I love that because it's so perfect for the times that we find ourselves in right now. And my message this Sunday is the still small voice. So please join me. You can go to rocklandcsl.org for the Zoom link. We're virtual this Sunday. You can also watch the live stream for now on Facebook. And I hope to see you on Sunday. On Sunday, I also repeat on the other sip that I call Sunday in Praise. I repeat a inspirational message. Last Sunday was a replay of the talk that Sekou gave a couple of Sundays ago about prosperity. And this Sunday, I will be replaying Navigating the Tides of Life this Sunday at 10:30 as well, Eastern Time. Remember, we spring forward this weekend, Sunday, 2 a.m. The clocks go forward. Daylight saving time begins. So don't be late to service, y'all. Don't be late to service. All right. I want to say thank you to everyone who came out last night for our community cafe. We had a wonderful visioning session. And every Wednesday, you could join us at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This is an offering to the community from Rockland CSL. It's completely free. And next Wednesday, we will be focusing on prayer works because we know that it does. So mark your calendars, Wednesday, 7 p.m. to spend an hour of joy, an hour of support with rocklandcsl.org. All right. Is there anything else I want to share? I keep having these moments of thinking today is Friday. I don't know why. But like these little blurps that today is Friday, but I know it's Thursday. All right. All right. I think that's it. I hope you all are doing well. I hope something that I've shared today resonates with you and that you will take action. I hope that you are giving your qualities energy, that you're using it every day, affirming it every day, embodying it every day. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, since we have a little bit of time, every year I invite you to submit a quality, a high vibration quality. You could think of it as a quality of God that you are making a commitment to expressing, experiencing, and embodying more fully for 2025. And we use those qualities. One of my qualities this year is order. So I use that quality. I embody that quality. I invite that quality. I plant the seed of order, right? And then I make affirmations about that quality. I imagine that quality. I feel that quality, and I act from that quality. So every day, it's like a muscle. We exercise it so that we could grow stronger and more grounded, so that we don't get swept out to shore, swept out to sea, right? When another tide comes in of confusion. All right. All right. You're very welcome, Patty. I will see you all tomorrow. We will conclude our illusion series. And just remember, the question is not about if this is this is an illusion or not. Instead, what I am inviting us to do is to look at the conclusion that we are making about it. Look at the conclusion that we are making about it, about our lives. All right. So, peace and blessings, everyone. Peace and justice. We are living life in joy, living life in your quality, connected to your yes.